is honored to serve as the program director for the Nurse Family Partnership Program in Cherokee Choices. As a chronic disease prevention program for the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians, she is a registered dietitian with a Master of Health Sciences from Western Carolina University. So she has over 23 years of experience in chronic disease prevention. That is really good. And then Keahana Lambert, she is a member of the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians from the Birdtown community and belongs to the Long Hair Clan. She is a mother of 3, a grandmother of 2, a sister, auntie, and friend. As a prevention specialist for Cherokee Choices, a program managed by the EBCI Public Health and Human Services Division, she plans to implement a wide range of educational services and outreach activities. Then Yolanda Saunooke, she is a behavioral change specialist for Cherokee Choices. She's an EBCI tribal member. Yellow Hill Community, she's married to TWCBT. She has 5 children. And she's a 2012 graduate of the CU. And she also has her bachelor's degree in anthropology. So I just want to thank you all for joining us today and being here. And they have a lovely presentation in store for us today. It is called The Power of Fun in Health and Wellness. So it's pretty exciting. And I'll go ahead and turn it over to our presenters.
Amazon. I'm Yolanda, the PhD. I'm Keahana. Nice to meet you all. We're going to be active, so I'll sit at the edge of your seats. Okay. Since Keisha is able to start the music, we're going to listen to some a little bit seated and try to do the same best. You can do this while you're watching TV. You can do this while your kids are playing sports, and you're going to be at practice for 3 hours.
Otherwise, I get some weird looks.
Yeah, you might get a few weird looks, but I try to incorporate just listening to the beat and follow my own body, but I'm also teach boxing, so we'll be on some stick bags, then we're gonna roll, or just jump bolter. Okay, so you wanna make sure you don't hit or kick the person in front of you. Those of you who's careful.
Do you scoot that a little bit forward?
Maybe you should just so that you can that really can get you on. Awesome.
It's just for fun. We're not gonna do a song because we would be able to breathe. You don't think that sitting and dancing is a lot of exertion, but it is. So as soon as Keisha's ready and just follow along, we're just doing your own thing. It's being active. And we're not choreographed, we're getting practice this, so we might, if you want to follow me, we're trying to keep up.
You're seconds here. I'm trying to get it such way.
We can loosen that and roll your some Tai Chi. Roll your neck. Swing the other way. Point your right foot, pinky toe, big toe, pinky toe, big toe. Left, pinky toe, big toe. This stretches your muscles and your ankles. You can go heel to toe. Okay. Get a little limber, right? Of foot. Roll your shoulders. Go the other way. How are we looking back there, Keisha?
I don't see your clip on here.
Is it part of the presentation? Is it embedded?
She was hoping you'd be able to pull it up.
Oh,
She would have to, yeah.
So,
I have a very difficult time getting it to upload.
okay, so pull up the song on, like,
Yes,
is that what you're saying, like on YouTube? Type of thing?
Oh,
Okay,
minute and a half of-
Gotcha.
All right.
Okay.
Oh,
There we go.
There we go. Okay, stretch it out. Thank you for that. Feet back in front. Make it a little louder. Good. Now. It doesn't matter. We're smooth. Now we're going back, engage that cord and suck that gut in. Yeah. Okay, let's get back to the top. Go down. The next side, you're gonna feel your muscles in your arms pull. You're working on come forward. And back. And don't touch the back of your chair, you gotta hold it in place. Now let's get down below. We're not doing the whole song. Yeah. You just want to move, you know, and laugh. Laughter's good medicine, right? Best medicine. Yeah, we're gonna one, two, like that. Bring your feet together. Squeeze back, go back. Engage that core. Now beat this. Wrists. You also feel your back muscles pull, which is good. Now together, roll forward. Roll back, forward. Now bring your chair back, forward, and forward. Miss Keisha ends the song. We try to have fun no matter what we're doing. And now it comes forward.
All right, thank you, Keahana, guys. Thanks for participating. So that is just a little snippet of the life of Cherokee Choices. And some of the work of this just amazing team. Keahana, Yo, we have several dietitians and our office administrator, but we all work together to have fun and make what we do fun and engaging. Because if it's not fun and engaging, right? Are you gonna remember it? No. Are you gonna connect? No. So what I'm gonna share today is partly some of the research on fun and how fun affects health and wellness, but largely the work of our team, the creativeness and programming, the connection to the community and to culture, as well as the passion that they put into the work that they do. So a little bit about who we are. We're the Chronic Disease Prevention Program for the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. So our vision is generations of wellness. And we look at promoting physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, cultural well-being to prevent chronic disease. So big job, right? Really big job. We serve about 15,000 enrolled members. Really mainly 1,400 tribal employees and those that live within the Qualla boundary, and that's all the way from, in nurse-family partnership, that is pregnancy, all the way through the first 2 years of life, through programming within the schools, programming for adults, all the way up to our elders. So big spectrum. So we can go ahead and go to the next slide. All right, so what is fun? Okay, so I think number one, disclaimer, we all have our own definition of fun, right? And what's fun to us, and I think that's the first thing to recognize. Also, as a disclaimer, I don't honestly feel like I'm the funnest person in the room. I'm not the one that is the life of the party or that's cracking jokes at staff meeting everybody's laughing at. So don't feel like you have to be that person to have fun. What I have learned in the last 23 years is you have to fully live life, right? And that connection with health and wellness, mind, body, spirit, and that love for life is going to take you way farther than any diet plan, whatever, right? So connecting that value within ourselves, within our team, and within the community that we work with, seeing that whole person is truly the biggest gift that you can give someone. So fun, enjoyment, amusement, lightheartedness, pleasure. I like formulas, right? I like something to go by. So I love the definition from a book called The Power of Fun, How to Feel Alive Again by Catherine Price. And she defines fun as playfulness, connection, and flow. So you can have all three of this, right? That's the big one, or you can just have one element or one of two. So when we look at the research and we're actually looking at, how does fun help health and wellness, right? Number one is common sense, right? If we're having fun, right? If we are engaged, we're not on our phones, right? We're engaged, we're connecting with others. We're gonna enjoy it. We're gonna be more likely to do it again, right? If you're doing programming, you want people to come back. If they're not there, it's not gonna connect. Also, when we're looking at the research, when we're looking at mind, like that mind, body, and spirit, and actually looking at physiologically what happens in the body, if we are socially isolated and lonely, it actually changes your gene expression. Okay, they did a lot of research after COVID. So many people locked in their houses alone for months and months at a time. So they found that your inflammation increases, your cognitive decline, you're more likely to be obese, and it impairs your immunity, your ability to fight disease, and your sleep. Now, on the contrary, when we just laugh, right? Doesn't even have to be a big belly laugh, just when we laugh, we actually decrease that cortisol level, decrease the inflammation, our risk from cardiovascular disease and death from all causes, just by laughing, okay? So we can go to the next slide. Excellent. All right, true fun. All right. Has anybody ever went to a party or a cookout and you didn't really talk to anybody or smile, or you're just like, oh my God, or that class like you felt like you had to sign up for because you were obligated, that church function, right? That's not true fun, okay? Those are social obligations we put into our calendar, right? To try to have fun, right? To try to have that pleasure. So what we're talking about is true fun. So one, the playfulness. Okay, so that's not just playing games, but it's this light-heartedness. That's being yourself. Okay, so one of the biggest things that takes away from true fun is judgment. Okay, so if someone walks into your program and they feel judged, are they going to have fun? No. If somebody walks into your office and they feel like, she's looking at my food diary right now, and I know what I ate, right? They're not gonna have fun. So when we look at playfulness, right, it's just this pleasure, this enjoyment in being yourself. And they find it too, that if you're with people that are more playful, right, and you're more playful in itself, it helps to lower stress. Secondly, there's connection. Okay. So, what is our biggest thief of connection? Our cell phones, right? So distraction, actually. So when we're distracted, right, by our cell phones or something else, we're not connecting to what's around us. We're not connecting to each other. We're not connecting to the materials. They found on average 4 hours a day, people are on their phones, okay? So even when you look at it for a second, then you're distracted afterwards. That's 60 days a year. That's a fourth of our life, okay? So that connection. So the more connected we are to each other, and when we look at the more connected we are to who we are, to our culture, right? Whatever your culture is, then we are more resilient, okay? Third is flow, okay? So this goes with that distraction too. Can we be in a state a flow where when we are fully engaged and focused if we are looking at our cell phone every 5 minutes. No. Right? So that full engagement is one of our most important things. We're fully immersed, we are fully present with what we are doing. And we don't have to be, I teach yoga, we don't have to be Tai Chi, we don't have to be in yoga, but it's whatever we are doing at that time, right? We are fully engaged. Okay, so I'm gonna move it on. So these are things, I think our last one, the sort of thing that came up is that material goods were not, the research did not show material goods were connected with fun. That Gucci purse, whatever. Not that it's bad, no judgment, right? No judgment, but it was the experiences that really helped that fun. Okay, we can go to the next slide. All right, so what is true fun for you? So what word, when you think of fun, what word really stands out to you? Maybe something that's on this slide, and maybe just something that pops into your mind. Go ahead and call it out.
Laughter.
Laughter, awesome.
Freedom.
Freedom. Children? What?
Joy.
Oh, joy, yeah. Children can go either way, right? Great. Great. Awesome. When I think of true fun, I teach yoga. So somehow I have a lot of moments where it's true fun, like where I'm on that yoga mat and either one, we've got an 1800s log cabin in the mountains. So I'm connecting with nature myself. I have that creative freedom and flow. There's no judgment. There's no distraction. And I'm just with my breath, my body, and my feelings of whatever I'm going to do on the mat. So, but it may be something where we're all sitting around the pool later on tonight, right? Laughing. Okay, next one. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to you. So this is showing some of our ways of true fun throughout our programming through Cherokee Choices, and we're starting with playfulness and fun.
Just so you know, that future was suffering. It took me forever to get them to understand what I was doing, and then after that we laughed because it was like, we've been doing this for a week now, guys. It's one of those. And you may not see it over here, but we got to take a look into the national park because we live in one of the most beautiful places. So we're at one of the entrances of the Great Smokies National Park. So they took us up there and they were doing a scavenger hunt of what it would be like to live in the 1800s. So they're trying to find all that stuff. So I was like, well, let's do yoga place while we're out here. The park rangers over here, when I was trying to explain it, they just got right into it. And I was like, yes, like that. So that kind of helped. It was fun. It's a little, like I said, it's a little suffering there on walking. So oh no, they're not taking what I'm giving them. But by the end they did. So our 2 camps, we do a yoga cultural camp, and then we do a cultural camp. So the yoga camp is aimed at the younger ones, and then the cultural camp is a little bit older, like 11 to 12. The yoga is like 8 to 10-ish. So we do a variety of different things: yoga, meditation, Tai Chi. We actually got to have some healing touch up there. If you have never tried that, I recommend you try that. It's pretty amazing. Swimming. We try to wear those little ones out because they wear us out. We incorporate the language, culture as much as we can. We get to have some of our elders come in, some from the museum, so we can kind of like collaborate with different projects and ideas. The new one here is the resources for resiliency. We've been trying to find different ways to incorporate that with the age range that we've got. So that's working with the big emotions, learning how that feels in your body and how to regulate that as best as you can. And then we made sure that the kids clubs, all of the campers got to experience that, and that's golf. We have the Sequoia Golf Club. We get to go there. He helps them with swinging and all that stuff. So it's pretty cool to watch them take to it, especially those that didn't think they'd like it. Pound is another new one. I don't know if you've ever seen the drumstick exercises. Those are harder than you think. I mean, they wear us out, but it's cool. It's music, so we incorporate a little bit of that. Book club, we just feel like it's something to give the kids that they can take back to their homes with them, that they can actually continue to use. And then arts and crafts, Shelby's really great about like incorporating different things that we haven't already done in some of the other classes. Next slide. So this is some of the pictures, and this one, it's me and Keahana, little Jay there. So the reason I love this picture is near and dear to my heart. We had one child that, he's the tallest child we had in our camp. And I mean, I know that's not saying much, but he was home schooled. His parents was trying to reach out so he could get some more social interaction. He was on the spectrum. And he had been wearing the life jacket. And we've been to the river several different times, and it was kind of scary for him to get in there. He didn't trust the integrity of that life jacket, is what he said. He's very highly intelligent there as well. And so this swimming pool, there's a bridge they swim under, they jump on the rock and they come floating down. Kids love it. It's not really deep or anything, but it keeps them moving. And the first time we told him to go up there and do it, he was hesitant, but as soon as he got in, he found that it was safe. He went back up, and each time he would get up there, he'd be like, you, and you, this is for you. Jerky choices is the best. I mean, it was just, if you could see the pure joy in his face, oh my God, it was just amazing. So we incorporate a lot of activities, fun stuff, with a little bit of fear. You'll see one picture, I love it too. So go ahead and go to the next slide. This one, poor Xander. That's not how he felt the whole ride, trust me. But they all look forward to this, and you know, this is one of our big days. This is one of those days that we incorporate a lot of the breathing, different ways to let out some stress, because this is kind of scary. Banana Halo is no joke, and so we go with this one rafting company, and they're really, really great at working with us. And so if you notice, mostly everybody is smiling, except for Zane. But it's all good. All right, go ahead and go to the next slide. So this is part of the yoga camp. So we work on different types of breathing. So this is one of our little belly breath exercises. And I believe Halloween should be celebrated all year. So that's why we have little Halloween toys that they're working with. So when we do some of our surveys and stuff with them, we do a pre and a post, and we do a focus group afterwards. So their favorite things, of course, is most of those things that are active outside of nature, the horseback riding, the rafting, swimming. We got to go back to Santa's Land this year. And it's more of like a younger age theme park. They don't have a lot of stuff, but they have this roller coaster that everybody loves, and it doesn't totally terrify me, so I can do that with them. And then the pottery. We looked up, we had one of the ladies that actually got to our Tai Chi class. She came and taught the pottery class on her own to get back to her shop and learn it for us. So it's really, really cool. Health changes during, you know, more fruits and vegetables, because we do breakfast and lunch for them and snacks. We are very lucky that we have a registered dietitian on hand that plans all these meals, and there's a lot of stuff that they never tried that they get to try before. There's meat that didn't realize they really like to eat. They called it the green thing. But after that, it became one of their favorites. Less sweet drinks. We do not allow you to bring any outside foods or drinks in. That's a big no-no. We've actually had to start watching water bottles, because every now and then somebody tries to sneak in some sweet tea. Laughing more often and feeling good about myself. We laugh daily with these kids. There's times we laugh at ourselves and we know it's okay. If I can laugh at myself, you can laugh with me, you know. Positive attitude, conquering fears. They can calm themselves. This was the one that touched me, and I didn't get to see it. A lot of the other ones that we had there, the staff members, they got to see, especially on the raft. One of our boys was really, really scared, and one of his partners was standing with it. Remember how you told us how to breathe? Let's work on it now. And he helped breathe with him. It was awesome. So, and it happened more than one occasion. Like I said, though, I missed it, but I was told about it later. So I was like, yes, awesome. More energy. They felt stronger. Definitely more water. Less angry and feeling good about themselves. So exploring their emotions. So every morning we would do a talking circle. Sometimes we call it weather report. Sometimes it's the rainbow. You know, what color are you feeling today? So people, if you're feeling happy, what is your happy color? Some say yellow, some say blue, some like black. It's all up to you what makes you feel happy and how you can register how that feels and what that looks like. And so over here, we're working with the hand-brain method so that they're understanding, how the brain works and how when you let those big emotions affect you, that thinking brain cannot operate. You cannot learn new knowledge. And so some of the other outdoor activities we get to do, like again, we are lucky where we live. We have a variety of places we can take our kids. So this is the Keahana Lambert Eating Village. So it's live demos. They're able to ask questions to the artists, talk to them, all kinds of cool stuff. Then up here is another part that we worked with the National Park Service. So they were talking about old games that they played in the 1800s and actually got to make a button game. So it's pretty cool. And then this is Judah Rock. He's what I call one of our first active environmentalists. If different ways of how he makes sure that you only took what you needed, no more, no less. Make sure that there's plenty of stuff for everybody. And he ruled pretty strictly, just like a parent would is the way I would look at it. But also he looked differently. So I use that story in a lot of different concepts, especially talking with kids that feel they low self-image of themselves. So I use that a lot. So that's one of the fun days that we actually get to go to. And then Junaluska Memorial, so we get to go down to Robbinsville, which is about 45 minutes, an hour away. One of the favorite places the kids like to go to as well. And then Keahana was able to hook us up again this year with some of her family members. So we actually made a Tohi salve. So it is actually good for like bug bites, rashes, little topical stuff like that. You cannot anticipate. That's what we have to explain to the kids. But they get to learn the process of everything that goes in it, how it's made, and actually what a lot of the stuff that's going in there helps with. So they get a wealth of knowledge with that as well. And each of them gets to take some of that home and actually do really well, make a little bit extra, so we're able to give it out into the community as well. And we also do a traditional foods day. So this one is the lie dumplings and the beans and all that good stuff with a little bit of fat back. A little bit. Come on. We do watch the kids because if not, they will take it all. But this is one of our elders in our community. She also does our Tai Chi classes with us. So it's kind of like we help them, they help us. It's kind of like giving back. So I really enjoy that. And then we got to help the lady that helps with our traditional foods and the pottery classes. They actually came in and missed one of the museum's ribbon skirts. So this is like a trial to see if me and Keahana could handle teaching the kids ribbon skirts. So we had one meltdown, one did great. So it's kind of like a 50-50 now. But it's just something that we're hoping to incorporate later on into it. So this is just an idea of what we're looking at to add as well. So I love this. The secret to our success is that we never give up. Woman man killer. I love that. And we had a lot of that with this is the older camp, the cultural camp. And we had a lot of emotional issues. We had one child who ended up being taken into family safety custody in our camp. And this was what helped keep her, I'm trying not to cry, help keep her with something to look forward to. So a lot of our kids that we take, we have some that are living with their parents. We have some that are in foster care, living in the children's home even. So that day, she was like, that was one of the best days she had. And then if you can see the other ones, they really took to it. This young lady right here, she had an incident with water and she was even scared to get in our pool. And by the end of camp, you can see that smile on her face. She conquered that fear. And I can tell you just by the amazement of how she felt that day, it was awesome. So there's just a lot of good stuff that happens with that. So this is kind of like leading into more of our older kids. I just loved her pure smile. That gym is not technical cultural for us, but I loved it. It's just something to kind of calm them down before horseback riding days. We got to play Chunky. One of the ladies from the museum got to help us come and do that game. They really, really enjoyed it. And then this is the other day, we were at the village. And you don't see the sign, but I love the sign that says welcome to our world. So again, with our surveys and stuff, they felt like they had better attitudes, felt nicer, family issues at home, felt safe. That can't, I don't know how to tell you how important or how much that affects all of us when we hear this.
I think it's important, you know, to note that the summer camps that we do are trauma-based. So it's an application process. So each of these babies that we have the honor of being with have experienced some severe trauma in their early lives. So you're seeing their feedback of feeling less angry and feeling safe and happy. That's what we do it for.
Yeah, our application process is not a first come, first serves. It's based off need. So it's pretty stressful for us. Like we got 94 applications and we can only take 44. So there's a lot that we had to learn. That was rough. So what campers learned and what they will keep doing, some like actually asked the staff at the stables how they can get jobs up there. Like they want to come back. And so it's pretty awesome for that. Racking, staying positive, treating others with respect, learning what emotions are that they are feeling, and it's okay to not know why. That was one of the hard things for them to understand, that it's okay sometimes if you don't know why you're feeling that way. Because a lot of our kids right now are going through their hormonal changes. You know, I can imagine when I was younger, it's hard to explain that. And so that's what we were working with them as well. Eating healthier, the changes, drinking enough water, feeling good about themselves, being more mindful and aware, more energy, eating plenty of fruits, managing their fears and positive attitudes. That was like the really big one that we were hoping that we could get across to you. Feeling less angry, feeling stronger, improved sleep, going to bed. Now, we did have one that no matter how early he went to bed, he still came in tired. And I'll take pictures of it or not. And then losing weight like they wanted to, eating plenty of veggies. We try not to worry too much about that, too much with that. So that is just kind of like on the question as far as like, especially some of our athletes in there, are they feeling healthier? Is the way we try to get. So this is just some pictures of his beautiful smiles. So this is the Santa's Land trip. One of the younger boys, he was scared of the roller coaster, but as soon as he got to do it with one of his friends, it made him feel so much easier and more relaxed. That is one of the villages where they're learning about different contraptions of catching animals and how we got our food supply. The horseback riding. And we have the tooth fairy, yes, she comes and visits us to make sure that we take care of our teeth. So incorporate a lot of other ways for taking care of your body. And then we had, this is Keahana. He comes and helps us from time to time. So he's explaining how the booger masks came to be. And so in today's time, we gave them the information of if they could make their own mask of their power to keep whatever is troubling them away, this is what they did. And they got to do kind of like their own ceremony to let go of what things. Let's try one more. And I just love this picture, especially the two in the center. They just like really got into it. Everybody else was like, yeah, I said 3, jump. But that was up at the farmstead. That was a different project that we got to do with the National Park Service as well. They got to do a little bit of pottery, so they got to hear the story of that, of how we got pottery. The museum helped come and do kind of like a demo of splitting a basket and design without hurting your hands, because that is a dangerous job, sometimes you gotta be careful. And then I loved this mask. I don't know, something stuck to me about it, so I had to put it in there. And then notice these smiles. Love it. This young lady right here, she was one of the ones that we had to really look after, take extra care of, and she did phenomenal by the time we got done, as far as regulating those emotions and being able to speak positive versus negative. There's so much I could say about all of them, so let's go. So this is one of the after-school programs that we do, so hopefully when we get them, it's kind of like back and forth. Sometimes I get new ones to join that were in summer camp that hadn't been into the preschool warriors after school. Then sometimes I've got the ones that's already been in the program that get to come to summer camp. So it kind of works both ways with that. And there's times I get a lot of siblings, which works. So one of my key things that I wanted was, we had all these yoga cards, all these different interpretations, but I wanted something that was ours, that our kids could relate to. So this is one of the projects I've been working on right now. I think we've got 12 and I'm working on the next 14. So that we'll be able to build our yoga deck, and at the end of camp, the kids get these, so they get to take them home and they've got their own little system of doing the yoga and actually teach their parents too. That's really, really cool. So for this one, it's usually 8 to 11. We do crafts, we do language, yoga, and Tai Chi. And like I said, I've only got about an hour and a half. So sometimes it is a 20-minute yoga session and we just roll on. So that's one thing I like about how we do our stuff. Whatever's rolling that day, we're able to fix it and just keep on moving. Trying to hurt one. So this is just a little picture that we did outside, their own little pose that they loved. Most of them love the tree pose, and we've got one doing the warrior. Our little turtle pops, that's my favorite legend, is how the turtle got his scraps. So we get to do something like that. And then, like I said, most times we'll do a weather report and like, how are you feeling? How's that feeling inside? Are you stormy? Are you sunny? Are you cloudy? You're not sure. And then we work on mindfulness and, you know, add the nutrition, water intake, and all that type of stuff too. So. All right, now I'm going to turn it on to Ms. Keahana to buy that one.
I have something. Anyways, I love the after-school programs that we do in our summer camps, because even though we have very different roles, we can agree with each other. So Yo does she's over the summer camps, that's her baby, and we just do what she tells us. But it is the most fun. So boxing, I learned as a child, my dad was a boxer, and I've always, that's been the only sport I can connect with. But it is evidence-based for trauma healing and stress reduction. And so I incorporated it into our programs, and I have a women's program and I teach 3 days a week. And I have elders that come 5:30 in the morning, 1 day a week, or they come at 6. And we work out and we do nutrition, health, energy. We do emotional regulation. And we've been doing it for a year, and we start again in September. We'll start up 3 classes. Seeing these women change and feel good about themselves, because even as adults, sometimes we're still healing, and we're still those children that have survived through traumas. Next slide, please. This is the after-school program. Donna Washke in Cherokee is the maker of war. So we do the Power Princess, and this little one here, she's in our summer camp. Natural athlete. Showed her one time, she got it and just went right with me. They are releasing stored traumas and they don't even know it. And that is the most joyful thing I've seen, is watching these little babies come and going, I can't do this. Or, you know, some of these have bullies, they're dealing with bullies, and they have horrible self-esteem, and they have all these emotions that just go everywhere. They come in angry, they come in scared, but when they leave, they feel empowered as a person. So we have connections as being females, but also being strong Indigenous women. And they didn't even know each other because they go to different schools because of how our boundary falls. We've got our reservation school, we have 2 public schools, and then we have a charter school. So all these kids go to different schools and didn't know each other until the after school program. So they got to connect with the sisters they didn't have. And several of these were actually in the summer camps this year. And so they got to see each other and continue that bond and work on self-esteem and emotions, because I know you all are familiar with MMIW. We all are. And that was one of the reasons we started this. Because this little one here is my daughter. I don't want my daughter to be powerless. I want her to know her worth, because every girl in here is priceless, and I want them to know that and feel that. Kids are my passion, I guess. Next slide. I'm gonna turn it back over to Yo, and she's gonna do this an activity.
So we talk a lot about like our kids' programs and stuff like that. This is the first time I got to try this one. It was kind of like a retake from the resources for resiliency, the kids. And we ended up doing that kind of with two. It's our program for adults that are struggling with addiction. So it's kind of like more of our rehab facility. And I don't know, it kind of spoke to me. So everybody stand up, please. So gosh, just gotta get some energy out. So let's take a nice inhale through the nose. Stomp, stomp. So, one more time, inhale. Stomp, stomp. Exhale. Right hand, left shoulder. Left hand, right shoulder. Tap. Go to the right. Go to the left. Up. Down. Keep tapping, so you get a little faster. Stop. Inhale, squeeze. Exhale, release. Inhale, squeeze. Exhale, release. So that's my power put from me to you. Next slide.
Yes. Okay. So we use, COVID made us really think outside the box, right? Isolation, people are living on phones, and social media. So we created ways to connect virtually. We do an art of self-care women's group, been one for almost 3 years now. And we meet every Tuesday virtually for an hour. And these women are so connected to one another that they still connect outside. Like we take a break inside because of camps, we can't do other programming, and they still meet. Yo and I do life coaching, help without the heart. Sometimes it's not about physical activity or losing weight. It might be I need to get emotionally regulated. So let's look into taking a class or connecting with somebody new. We'll go to health fairs. The boxing, and we advertise, of course, Rock Your Moms. We try to promote our programs in every avenue that we can. So when there is a theme going through for the month, domestic violence or sexual assault awareness, we plug our stuff in because what I do is trauma based. So we've got the book club. We did that during COVID. We could meet virtually and we could meet in person. We provide the books. We did a month to read, and then we come and discuss it. And it's been, a way to escape what's going on. It's been a way to decompress and just be who you are and relax. And then we have women's strength that a couple of our other coworkers teach and kick butt. Those women are strong women. But it's all about staying connected with people in our community, because if we're not connected, then who are we? How do we know who we can lean on if we don't know one another?
And one thing, I know, in the beginning when Robinson, what's your idea of fun? Don't think bad of me, but I call it shared suffering. So I do CrossFit, I do other stuff. So when I hear other people struggling along with me, I'm like, oh God, it's not just me. It just makes me feel good. I mean, and that's kind of like what these programs do, the strength, the boxing. When you see other people struggling along with you, that gives you a connection, and it does empower you to keep trying and help them keep trying as well.
Absolutely, because you got that encouragement as well. I have some women that come to the boxing that, and these were younger girls, and they were like really struggling to get through the circuit, with the 30-second circuit. And I could hear them, even the old ones were going, come on girls, you've got this. Yeah. And so the what we call the old ones were lifting up the young ones and getting them through, because the older ones, we still have some value. So we trying to encourage each other to step up. Y'all are coming up, it's time for us to step back. Thanks. We have a stress and healing art retreat, which is trauma based, and I'll let discuss that real quick, and then I'll move on to the resiliency.
So this is another one of my babies. So I know a lot of our programs, it looks as if we are just working with those that are enrolled members. That is not true. What I love about our program is, one, yes, we do give priority to enrolled members. However, if you work or live within my community, if you are not taking care of yourself, you cannot take care of my people. So we open this up to everyone. And we have, I don't know how many healthcare people we have that come and try to get this, and you know, that's a very hard place to work, dealing with the stuff that they see and hear daily. And so this is one of our ways to help them connect. Majority of our programs are free and open to the public. The only things that we really charge is my 5Ks, but they go back into a community group. So our Tai Chi, our yoga, we do art therapy, we have local artists that come in and help, like this year was the corn silk craft, sound therapy. Sound therapy is very popular too. So we had 55 participants this year. And how we do it, the application, we give them a score. And it's amazing to see on a score level of your stress from 1 to 10, how people range that. And there were several that were 8 up into 10s that we had applied this year. So we do a 2-day retreat, all at our offices. So there's not a lot of moving and everything. I really like this year. Go ahead and go to the next one. And we supply breakfast and lunch for them as well too. So with all the stuff that we plan, we kind of do our post surveys to see how well we're doing or what we do need to incorporate to do a little bit better. This year they enjoyed the traditional song and dance. We had one of our adult programs that are learning the language come up, and it was so amazing when Kiabe did our dance and he asked them questions out there and they responded. I mean, it just echoed. It's really empowering when we did that dance this year. Sound therapy, healing touch, yoga for better sleep. That was something new that we were looking at this year that we talked about. You know, we always do some type of yoga, but we've been seeing more research, especially about how better sleep affects. So they really enjoyed that one. And this year we have our guest speakers, Dr. Anna Bullock and Dr. Tom Bell and Dr. Lisa Leffler. Sorry, there's a typo. I just didn't see that. So Dr. Tom Bell and Lisa Leffler, they actually wrote a book called Sounds of Kentucky. And we were able to give each of our attendees one of those books. They came and did the signature, the signage for it. Tom got to speak. I don't know if you've ever heard one of your elders speak that just keep going and going. And like, man, just all that information and that wealth of knowledge. He's one that can just keep on, and he really impacted our group. They kept asking questions. It's hard for him to leave. He's trying to get out, but it was really hard for him after that. So this is just another idea of how the retreat goes. We'll try to incorporate as much as we can, not just as far as physical activity, but also ways to different avenues to help relieve that stress that you may not be used to or haven't tried before. Okay. Back to Keahana.
So when you fill out surveys, you know, that's your perception, right? So we do resources for resilience, and we do a 2-day workshop. We've done them virtually, and now luckily we can do them, you know, in person, because there's a better connection. You know, when I'm trying to talk with someone about how they emotionally, you know, feel and a physical response to that feeling, it's hard to do that through cameras. So it's trauma informed, trauma responsive, dealing with ACEs. Are you all familiar with ACEs? And then pair of ACEs, you know, you've got your childhood experience and you've got your community. This is how we're able to take charge and claim our ability to reset and self-regulate. It increases connection, compassion, and you stay well even in the face of ongoing struggle. We have struggles every day, that's life. But when you can reset yourself and get back on your thinking brain, then you can process new information. So this year, 22-23, 88 participants. We did work an hour a week that we worked that one. We also go down to Callahan, which is our residential treatment facility, and do a 2-day training just for them. let's see, youth council, we've had 25 participants complete part 1 of the champion training and 8 complete with day 2. Let's see, these are our results, 40 rated programs outstanding and 60 at our 6 is good. 44 likely to use it for all skills. I like that the RFR, it means resources for resiliency. The participants actually want to use these, you know, and they come back and they're referring. So we've already got it scheduled for one time a month in December. That will teach the community. That's not including individual programs that ask us to come teach their employees. We're looking to go into the jail system, I'm working on that now, and the hospital, some managers at the hospital are contacting me so they can sign their employees up for this. Because if you're healthy, then you're going to do better in services that you provide. Next. Watch the time, sorry. So this, we call this the money zone. This is where it's at, the light green, that's, you know, where you're even keel, that's when you're in your thinking brain, and you can process the information, you can make decisions. So any type of, you know, jolt to that balance knocks you out, right? It's either gonna amp you up, which would be hyper, sleepless, angry, or it's gonna shut you down where you're helpless or withdrawn or maybe in pain. So anytime that you can stay in your money zone and stay connected, then you can process. And the more you practice, the wider your zone gets. Some people just naturally are wired with very thin resilience zone. So anything, a car wreck, dog bite, disagreement at work can jolt them and knock them way out of balance. Some people, that just rolls off the back. You've seen people both ways, I'm sure, in life. Some people can take it and just keep going, like whatever. And that's when their zone is very wide. But the more you practice the skills that are taught in this class, the wider your zone gets.
And what I liked about this when we first were doing it, it's amazing of like, you're already doing some of this, you just don't realize it, but there's a name to it now. So it's, you're able to actually incorporate that into your life a lot more easier than before. And every time I see this one, I always think of like, have you ever been so mad that you can't form words? Well, that's what this is. It's knocks you out of your zone.
Yes. Or the downside is when you can't even process, you can't think, you can't connect, you can't vocalize or verbal out. You're just like, I quit. I'm on the couch, I'm in bed for days. That's when you're shut down. So the class teaches you different ways to identify those, and when you can identify, and I work with the hospital too with another trauma program called Beauty for Ashes. And so when you can identify that physical response to that emotion, it's so much easier to start the healing process and keep yourself regulated. One of the tools that we use, the rapid reset, so that you can come back online really quick. It pulls you together and you can actually have other people help you with that, and you don't even know what you're doing. One of the things I like, one of the tools I like is to kind of redirect if I have someone that's upset or shut down, or maybe they're just bouncing. I will just redirect their thoughts. Hey, I need some help. Can you come help me? And we're doing multiple tools. They don't know it, but they come back online because they're getting their mind off of what's going on. They're having to focus on me. They're not thinking about what the physical ailment is or the issue that's gotten them to that place. And they're physically exerted, which is release of that energy, right? Just because I asked them to help me. So you can actually combine some of these, but the rapid reset's the one we use a lot at work because you can do it instant.
And it's kind of like what the power hub was too. The tapping is one of the rapid resets, but I just add a little bit extra to it.
Yes. And with that, I will now turn it into over to Robin, and she's going to let us sense in. She's going to teach us a tool.
All right, so Sense In is the heart of every tool that we just had that snapshot of. We have to remember, when we think about our nervous system, it communicates through sensation. It does not communicate with words. That's why if someone is in panic zone or shut down, you cannot reason with them through language. So you have to communicate through sensation. What's our sensation? Our touch, right? Do this. Okay. It's our pulling, right? That's touch, pull up into. It's also our sound, listening, our sight, and our taste. Okay, so you can do this, a sensation with even water or something to drink and to really thinking about the sensation. So let's just start by just take one moment and just sort of find a comfortable spot in your chair where you're sitting up nice and tall. And then have your feet right underneath your knees, and just, if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes, or if you rather, you can just sort of find a dristy or gaze down on the floor. So first, just start to notice your heartbeat. You can just notice if it's fast or it's slow. And then notice any muscle tension or tightness. Maybe the neck, the shoulders, so low back. And then just start to notice your breath. So notice that inhale and exhale through your nose. No control, just noticing it. And even by bringing your awareness on it, it may deepen, get faster or slower. Just bring all of that awareness onto your breath. Notice your muscles moving, your chest rising. And on the next inhale, start to bring our arms all the way out. If you touch your neighbor, just give them some love. Inhale our arms all the way out. And then exhaling our hands all the way through our center. So just keep that connection with the breath of the movement. Inhale all the way. Exhale our hands all the way through our center. We're moving through water. Next one, we're going to inhale all the way up. And then this time, we're going to take palms down and press all the way down, pushing up our exhale. Go ahead and grab the bottom of your chair. Nice, big inhale, roll the shoulders up and back and pull on that chair. This is our rapid reset. Just pull, 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 pull all the muscles in your strength, your arm. Exhale. Okay, one more time, pulling up on that chair. Lift, lift, lift. And then exhale. Just roll the shoulders up and back. So let's bring our hands together, rub our hands together, create warmth, energy. And then gently either cup your eyes or your face and gently rub your hair or your face all the way down. And we end by saying Toki, which means peace or all is well. Okay, so that was a little combo of Sin, with a little chicken. We're almost done. I think we just have like 2 more slides. So our third piece of play, or our third piece of looking at the power of fun, we have our playfulness, we have our cultural connection and community connection. Our third piece is the flow. So yoga and Tai Chi is just one example of how we can use that flow, as well as community connection. So we do classes all the way from little bitties, like in the the daycares, we do story time yoga, all the way up to our seniors and doing chair yoga. So I think our most popular is probably that lunchtime, like people, the tribal employees coming just to get out of their chair. During COVID, we did virtual yoga, and they're all on our website, not professionally done, so no judgment there. But just this last year, we did 62 sessions, just yoga sessions. And then, 41 Tai Chi sessions just this last year, just between Noah and I. So, and we also work to incorporate the Cherokee language cards as well, so like a Cherokee word of the week. And that was a way that they could learn them. But a true connection to just seeing people before class, seeing people after class, and meeting people where they're at with what level they're at. So we can go to the next slide. So so this is our contact number. If you have any information or any question at all on what we do, feel free to reach out, and then go to the next slide, please. So, you know, I just want to acknowledge, this is the work of so many people that are not here today. We just have an incredible team. Keahana and Yo do so much and bring so much creative freedom into what we do, and so much passion. I really believe it's that connection with people in your community are what makes it. It is not about a degree. It is not about a fancy incentive. It's about that connection you have with that person. April Ennis, she's a certified diabetes educator and a registered dietitian and a culinary expert. She does all of our food. One day we'll get a food truck, one day. Tori, she is a registered dietitian, super organizer to the max, and specializes in sports nutrition. So Shelby Parker, she's our program assistant and does everything. She's one of the, Yo and I and Keahana and Shelby are all the resources for resiliency, teachers. Another program that we didn't even get to talk about, we didn't talk about so many programs, but she does it, eating the rainbow. So it's a cooking class with kids, and they actually taste and cook for kids. And of course, April and Tori do a lot of the diabetes prevention and cooking demos and stuff. Danielle Henderson, she drank the water on the first day and she got pregnant. So we've got a lot of babies at Cherokee. So she just came back, but our office administrator, she keeps us going. Nancy Stevens, she's the Healing Touch practitioner. So if you've never done healing, has anybody ever done Healing Touch? Okay, so it's sort of like massage, but it's energy. It's more like Reiki, like energy works. It's very light. So we actually have this beautiful massage healing touch room in the office, and community members come for free and get sessions. The research as far as helping with decreasing pain, helping decrease trauma and stress, amazing. And then there's me at the Atlanta United game, goes, in my family. So thank you guys for your attention, and we're happy to take any questions that you have.
Can you put it back on the first slide on the definition?
Yeah.
Trying to put it all together.
And just almost another side note, everything that we do, we are always in laughing in our classes. No, it's never on the instructor call me. That doesn't go so far. Because there's a lot of times, especially when we were doing Tai Chi, that was the first time I ever taught it. But I felt really good coming out of that class, like, yeah, I got this. But when we get there, they're very focused on steps and stuff. And the group I had, they were great. They're like, we don't know no better, just keep going. You're fine. So, and it's worked out really, really well. So like I said, We can't laugh at ourselves, then there's no point in it.
Yeah, I think it's Flow's the one I want to take. Yeah.
I think
that one.
I think the other note is, if you're as healthcare professionals, right, we're trying to share information, right? That's what we're supposed to do. So it's really easy to get in that mode of, I've got to go over everything on this list, right? I've got to check all the boxes. And it's so important is to have that knowledge and do your research, do your homework, know this stuff. But, at least in our community, the PowerPoint and taking notes and preaching to someone does not work, right? So making everything you do fun and interactive, and then having those times to check in to make sure, is this really connecting, right? And if it's not, like we plan every 6 months, what's working, what's not, what's the community's needs, what's the research, what's jiving, what can we work together on? Every 6 months, we have different programming. And of course, we will continue things that work, but we're always changing. We're always looking at ways to improve it. And I think that's what makes it fun for us too, because I think we would get really bored if we did the same thing every day.
How do we get a copy of the slides, please?
Yeah, I think they're on the app for the
USET.
yeah,
Yeah,
the app for
right.
this session.
Yep.
I accessed them on the.
Oh, terrific. Well, thank you.
And we also have a website called just Cherokee Choices Public Health and Services, and then a YouTube page too. So we have a lot of videos on the YouTube page, and we're on Facebook as well. So
Conference, it's going to be.
Yes, that's what it is.
We have a lot of partners that would work with and stuff, so it's kind of like they make us aware of what they got going on and they kind of like pick our brains of what they think would be good, and so we don't collaborate with a lot of people. So, but it's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. We're very blessed because we have those connections with our elders. And we also have the English kids, so you get to, like the pictures with the sewing and the cooking. Those are two tribal elders two of the very many that we incorporate in. So we grow with knowledge from them, and then they tell us, hey, I need you here. So, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, and we make an appearance. We work together.
Right, any other last minute comments or questions for Robin? Keahana?
You guys are great.
To have some tips for our business, and we really appreciate all the work that you're doing in your community, the impact. Before we leave, there will be an evaluation email sent to you, so just click on that link. And the more that you do evaluations, so, and then as of right now, we're in break, and then we'll have our next session at 11:45. So, all right, well, thank you all.
Can't go that way.
To be like this.